Okay, so this is my first video from my car. I've never done a video like this before, but one of my favorite YouTubers does her videos in her car. And then I noticed that her car is the same car as mine with the blue stripes on here and everything. And I thought, I've got the same car. Why not? So I just wanted to make some comments about some of the things that she talks about. And her name is Elizabeth Otis. So I would highly recommend looking up her videos. She's really nice. She has a lot of wisdom. She helps people a lot, and I just love her videos. So my other video I've done on here, I didn't have any makeup on and I look pretty horrible. This one, sun's behind me. I'll have to repark the car or something, but next time. But my hair looks horrible anyway, so there's that. But anyway, all I want to say is that the most valuable thing in the entire universe basically is information or truth. If you want to look at it that way, like the type of truth that allows you to fulfill your purpose in this life, that allows you to overcome obstacles in your own life and everything. We live in an information universe. I don't know why people still think that material things are most important. Like in my life, I have like forgotten about money sometimes. Like I forgot I had a retirement account. I just completely forgot about it. It's like $10,000 in there. And then like years later, they're like, hey, do you want to pay this out now? Or you can just get $100 a month when you retire. I'm like, it wasn't that much, you know? So I was like, I'll just take it. But I was like, what? Okay, I forgot. And then another time I left a job and I forgot to go back and get my last paycheck. And apparently then I moved and stuff. And so they sent it to the unclaimed funds in Tennessee. And then they eventually sent it to me. And I got this $100-something check. It was like a temporary job while I was in between moving places for jobs. But anyway, I just wanted to say that that's been a big problem of mine. And I know that Elizabeth Otis has talked about, like, you need to understand that you're valuable and love yourself enough to get resources from other places. And I think I've been so focused on just getting information about the universe that I live in, about myself, about the human condition and where we came from. My background is in evolutionary psychology and behavioral neuroscience. I did my master's degree work at Emory University in Atlanta on dopamine in the ventrolateral striatum. Modulates the reward value of intracranial self-stimulation. So yeah, I studied dopamine and reward systems and things. Part of the motivational systems of humans. I studied the evolution of our motivational systems, that kind of thing, just because I'm trying to figure out what truth is or what this life's about, like what my purpose is. I feel like I have this big purpose in my life, and it's another thing that Elizabeth talks about is like having a purpose in life. It really helps you get through things, and it has allowed me to get through a lot. If you haven't noticed before, I'm transgender, unfortunately, but when I found out, I tried part-time in it, but you can't part-time who you really are, especially if it's been painfully hidden all your whole life. So I started putting stuff online, like a picture of me in a dress, and then my wife just wanted a divorce immediately. Tried to get her to go to therapy with me. I was seeing a therapist at the time because I was having suicidal ideation. Just thoughts, really. I never really tried or anything, but it scared me. You know, and it was right before, when I was coming out, because I knew how much it would uproot everything, but I had to be who I was meant to be in life. It's like really important that you do that. And if you, no matter what, that is a sign of really caring about yourself and your purpose. Because if you can't be yourself, you cannot ever realize your true purpose. And that's the only way a person is going to be, one, powerful in their own life, and two, happy. Those go together. And those are totally a result of you following your purpose. So I just want to reiterate those things that I know Elizabeth talks about, but then add something else, and that is, I think that in all the years I spent in libraries, it's a long story. I'll do another video just on that, but how much time and effort I spent on trying to figure out what reality is, where we came from. And I've gotten to a point now where I've talked to all these people around the world. I used to talk to Francis Crick, co-discoverer of DNA and stuff, and a bunch of people like Susan Blackmore. She's a friend of mine, talked to her a lot. And then I talked to Jordan Peterson like 20 years ago, before anybody knew who he was. He had just published his first book, The Maps of Meaning. And I read it and I thought, oh my God, here's a guy. It's like, he is like me because he investigates this truth, trying to get to the bottom of things, and nobody knew what he's talking about. Nobody thinks like that. So when I first met him, it was like meeting a long lost brother, and we talked for like 3 hours straight. I have pictures of me talking to him at the conference in 2001 in Tucson, Arizona, the Consciousness Convention or whatever. And it was just mind-blowing to meet someone that thought like that, because I'd never had before. I always thought I was alone in the way I thought. I looked at history. I see evidence of things in history that mimicked the way I thought about things. And then I saw evidence in here and there, like split up everywhere, about these things that I've been coming to in my mind, like what the universe is like, what reality is and everything. And it's spread out like between religions and everything, kind of like the blind man and the elephant. And I had just been afraid to talk about it. I got myself kind of like out on a limb because it's so far out. The stuff that I know and the stuff that I realize that's absolutely true, that has to be true, people aren't really going to be able to understand it without a lot of background and talk. So it's like I always felt like an alien my whole life because I looked at things differently, but especially after I did all of that studying and brought together all of that information, had that much meaning. I think one of the number one purposes of life is to gather meaning, because when you do, here's how you gather meaning. What I want to define that, and that is you gather truth that's relevant to your own existence, survival across time and space. When you gather that truth, you can overcome environmental obstacles. And if you look at all the history of the evolution of life, that's not an accident. I don't think it really isn't. It's like what we're meant to do. Like every organism that's successful and progresses out of a niche and can live in more niches has discovered another truth, incorporated into their genetics. Sometimes it's just luck that existed in the population, then the obstacle came, and all that was left is the one that had the information to overcome that obstacle, or had already left the niche or whatever. So now we know that humans are the number one creature, or the only creature on Earth that has moved into an information niche entirely. Like we've gathered information about evolution and started taking over the reins of our own evolution, like with the things that Francis Crick discovered and things, and now the Human Genome Project. It makes it really explicit. But even before that, when Hammurabi's code was made, we were in essence making a set of contingencies that's like a niche, so that if you want to live in this social realm with other people, there's certain rules you have to follow, or your ability to survive will be diminished. So we internalized the process of evolution itself, almost like we became co-creators. Like we're going to be doing what the creator has done for us to get us here. Now we're going to be explicit creators ourselves. So it's kind of like a divine thing, because otherwise we're just subject to the laws of nature. Now we have the laws of man, and we realize there's some things that nature can't do that we have to do. Like there's some things that nature cannot give to us via evolution, and that is the explicit use of the laws of nature to do things like make airplanes and cars. And now the sun is really getting bright, but I'll try to turn it a little bit. So yeah, this is the things I wanted to talk about. I'll make some more videos. I made one video where I don't have any makeup on. I look freaking horrible. I apologize for that. But here I am. It's me. What can I say? Katy Perry had a picture online. No makeup. I can make a video with no makeup. But anyway, I love Katy Perry. So that's all I wanted to say for today, is that I've discovered some things about the universe and the way it works. And one of the keys is information. The more you learn, that's one of the things that's left out of all these teachings about manifestation and things, is that you have to have gone through and learned a lot of the possibilities, where we come from and where we're going, because a lot of that stuff impinges on what we're able to manifest. A lot of people don't understand that part of it. And so they're just like, I just want. No, if you want according to this overall pattern of life, that's when you receive. If you help others along that path, then it starts flowing towards you. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, the thing that really piques people's interest in things is when it echoes this path, and the forces of it, and the things behind what we see as nature and the lifetimes of humans and things, like the real meaningful things. That's what really gets us going. That's what motivates us to sit outside of a theater waiting for the opening of the next installment of a pseudo-religious saga like Star Wars or something. I mean, it's like deeply moving to us. And there's a reason why it was. And George Lucas studied the deep teachings of Joseph Campbell and everything. So it's like Joseph Campbell, who did comparative religions and mythologies. These stories that we told ourselves, those were the information that we needed to be on the right path in life. And that is something that we have a deep, voracious appetite for. When we find out what our role is in these patterns, that's when we really understand who we are. When we find out what we can do to move forward as the figurehead of life, which I believe that humans are. We are the figurehead of life. And we're moving forward as that. It's like this great dragon in the Oriental sense, not like the medieval St. George's dragon, but we're this great dragon of reality through time with the figurehead of humans. And so anyway, that's really all I want to say right now without getting into too many details. I don't really speak from notes because I know a lot. I could talk for a long time about a lot of things, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an introduction where I'm coming from, and to acknowledge Elizabeth Otis, who makes her videos in the same car that I have, and used to live in Atlanta. I did. That's where I went to graduate school at Emory University there. Taught experimental methodology, among other things. So anyway, love you. Everything is really one, and that's really difficult to understand. We're all connected behind the scenes. That's something I know without any doubt. And love is the most powerful thing in the universe. Thank you.